Enterprise risk assessment. It is a proactive measure to establish strategic priorities and to tackle key business risks in this S&P Knowledge series. Let's discuss enterprise risk assessment. Authored by S.N. Panigrahi, international business consultant, corporate trainer, mentor and author. Authorized training partner ATP, instructor of PMI, USA. Enterprise risk assessment ARA. An enterprise risk assessment (ARA) is a systematic and a continuous process of proactively identifying potential risks of an organization and assessment of their impact and likelihood of potential future risk events that are most consequential to the organization's ability to execute its strategy and achieve its business objectives within a stated time horizon. Before going further, let's understand what is risk. As per PMBOK of Project Management Institute (PMI), risk is defined as an uncertain event or condition that, if it occurs, has a positive or negative effect on one or more project objectives. ISO 9001:2015 defines risk as the effect of uncertainty on an expected result. An effect is a deviation from the expected. It may be positive or negative. Risk is commonly understood to be negative or adverse effect in the general parlance. But, from the above two definitions, it is very clear that a risks may have a positive or negative deviation from the expected. In risk-based thinking, opportunity can also be found. This is sometimes seen as the positive side of risk. While discussing the enterprise risk assessment, we shall discuss here mainly about negative risks. Understanding risks in an organization. Risk is about what could happen and what the effect of this happening might be. Risk also considers how likely it is. Risk is assessed as a combination of the probability of occurrence and the severity of that if it occurs. That means, risk is about how likely, frequently, it happens and what could happen and what the effect of this happening might be, that is severity. The risk-based thinking approach is likely to be much more effective in allowing organizations to become stronger, fitter businesses. The better your organization manages risks, the better prepared you are to face uncertainties. Risk-based thinking requires companies to evaluate risk when establishing strategies, taking up new projects, investing in new ventures, defining business processes, controls and improvements, adopting new systems, or even assessing the existing businesses. Enterprise risk categories. Risks in an organization may emerge from many areas of business. There may be strategic risks, operational risks, technological risks, market-related risks, quality and process risks, financial risks, economic risks, environmental risks, occupational safety and health risks, information security, cyber risks, legal risks, regulatory or compliance risks, etc., as shown in the next slide. Let's now discuss enterprise risk categories with examples. First, strategic risks. Strategic risk is the risk that business decisions may pose to a company. Strategic risk is often a major factor in determining a company's worth, future outlook, particularly observable if the company experiences a sharp increased decline in various performance factors. Strategic risk refers to the internal and external events that may make it difficult, or even impossible, for an organization to achieve their objectives and strategic goals. Also, it refers to opportunities wherein growth prospects are bright because of right strategic decisions. Examples are strategic decisions of new investments, new market entry, new project, new product, dropping of decisions taken earlier, brand image, competition, innovation, partners risk, planning risks, communication risks. Operational risks. Operational risks are potential sources of gains or losses as a result of personnel, procedural, systems, and external events. Operational risks arise from numerous areas within and outside of a company. Examples: technical or process or people-related risk, gaps in flow, uncontrollable events, damage to assets, value, supply chain risks, employment practices, safety and hazards, internal frauds. Technology risks. Technology refers to methods, systems, and devices which are the result of scientific knowledge and skills being used for practical purposes or applications, whether in industry or in our everyday lives. Technology risk is any potential for technology inventions, innovations or failures that may promote or disrupt your business. Examples: technology for ease of business, new product or process innovation, information security incidents or service outages, technology failures to disrupt your business. Rapidly changing technology, competitors adopting better technology, complexity of technology. Market-related risks. Market risk is the risk associated with profits or losses due to favorable or unfavorable events that affect the market movements as a whole. Examples: a gain or fall in market share, competition, customers' new demands, changing market conditions, alternative products. Quality and process risks. Quality and process risk is the potential for gain or losses due to quality and processes that meet or fails to meet your quality goals. Satisfying or failure to meet quality standards, customer complaints, product recalls, process capable or not capable, changes in standard norms, audit reports, product or product changes, information obtained from the corrective or preventative action process, etc. Financial risks. Monetary risk arise due to various business decisions or due to other risks. Examples: earning or losing money, value on investment, increasing debt, interest rate, credit risks, liquidity risks, valuation risks, commercial risks of suppliers, customers. Economic risks. Economic risk is referred to as the risk exposure of an investment made due to changes in the business conditions or effect of macroeconomic factors. Examples: changing economic conditions, country economic policy, fluctuating exchange rates, changes in government policies, changes in taxes and duties. Environmental risks. Environmental risks means risks concerned with the protection of the natural world of land, sea, air, plants, and animals. Examples: pollution norms, government regulations, social compulsions, pollution, radiation, noise, land use patterns, work environment, and climate change, non-availability of pure water, air, sustainability risks. Safety and health risks. A health and safety risk, within the context of occupational health, relates to an assessment of hazards that can lead to the harm, injury, death, or illness of a worker in a determined workplace. Examples: workplace safety, hazardous waste, exposure to dangerous chemicals, electrical accidents, well-being of workforces. Cyber risks. Cybersecurity risk is the probability of exposure or loss of critical assets and sensitive information, or reputational harm resulting from a cyber attack or data breach on your organization. Examples: ransomware, phishing, data leakage, hacking, insider threat, password theft, business information being lost, stolen, copied, or otherwise compromised. Legal risks. Legal risk is the risk of financial or reputational loss that can result from lack of awareness or misunderstanding of, ambiguity in, or reckless indifference to, the way law and regulation apply to your business, its relationships, processes, products, and services. Examples: changes to laws and regulations, legal violations, legal accountability or litigations, contractual disputes, employee-related legal issues. Regulatory or compliance risks. Compliance risk is an organization's potential exposure to legal penalties, financial forfeiture, and material loss, resulting from its failure to act or violations in accordance with industry laws and regulations, codes of conduct, or organizational standards of practice or internal policies or prescribed best practices. Examples: governance, regulatory and policy risks, non-compliance of any laws, internal policies or prescribed best practices, social responsibility, ethics, corruption, etc. Enterprise Risk Assessment Process. Enterprise Risk Assessment Process is an ongoing process, having following steps or processes. Enterprise Risk Assessment Process steps. First, deeply understand business of an organization. Then establish the context, circumstances, and set the objectives. Next, gather data, information, and identify major risks. Prepare risk profile and establish risk assessment methodology. Analyze risks, understand and evaluate impact of risks on business. Develop action plans, risk response strategies, and validate. Communicate the strategy, implement the action plans, and monitor progress of implementation. Last but not least, review regularly and update. Let's now discuss each step of enterprise risk assessment process. Deeply understand business of an organization. Understand the business, the operations and the working conditions, the industry and competition, stakeholders, etc. Establish the context, circumstances and set the objectives. Get clear insights of organization's objectives and goals to set the tone for understanding the organization's business outlook. It is very essential that establishing a clear link between objectives, risks and selected strategic initiatives by aligning with organization priorities. Gather data, information and identify major risks. Gather data, collect relevant information and perspectives from the people on the ground to understand what risks could have the most significant impact on the organization. It is a good practice to consider what drives the company's value during the strategy objective setting. Once the key drivers are identified, and then begin to identify risks that can potentially hinder the success of each key driver. Prepare risk profile and establish risk assessment methodology. A risk profile is an evaluation of an individual's willingness and ability to take risks. It can also refer to the threats to which an organization is exposed. A corporation's risk profile attempts to determine how a willingness to take on risk, or an aversion to risk, will affect an overall decision-making strategy. Provide a clear profile of major risks that can negatively impact the company's overall business. Analyze risks, understand and evaluate impact of risks on business. Identified risks are carefully analyzed to determine both their likelihood of occurrence and potential impact on business. This is a quantitative analysis of the types of threats an organization faces with the goal of providing a non-subjective understanding of risk by assigning numerical values to variables representing different types of threats and the danger they pose, develop action plans, risk response strategies and validate. This is a formalization of risk response stage, where formal action plans and risk measures for risks falling outside the acceptable tolerance levels are finalized. Once potential risks are finalized and analyzed its impact, optimal risk response strategies are formulated with consensus of all the concerned team members. Also, risk champions, owners are identified and assigned the responsibility to them. Initiations are taken to validate the action plans, formalize process of audit and business continuity planning. Communicate the strategy, implement the action plans and monitor progress of implementation. Once the risk response strategy is finalized, it must be communicated to all the concerned. Relevant information and data need to be constantly monitored and communicated across all departmental levels concerned. Measure, monitor, and communicate the effectiveness of the risk response strategies by utilizing any key risk indicators deemed effective by that organization. Review regularly and update. Risks are dynamic in nature, needs to monitor and continuously update the real risks. Enterprise risk assessment is a continuous, ongoing and evolving process of proactively and pragmatically document risk management policies and processes. Risk assessment concluding comments. Enterprise risk assessment tool is used by organizations to manage risks proactively and seize opportunities related to the achievement of their objectives. Risk assessment outcomes help organizations to establish strategic priorities and activities to tackle key risks. Increasing awareness, and imbibing risk culture, with involvement of top management and cross-functional teams, shall enhance the organization's ability to understand, identify, and develop action plans in advance to proactively manage risks.
Do you find the presentation informative and useful? If yes, then click like and also subscribe the channel for free to receive updates. For more on project management, Lean Six Sigma, export, import and GST and other related topics, please go through my YouTube presentations at below link. Subscribe the channel for free to receive updates. Also, don't forget to circulate to your contacts to spread knowledge.